sleep last night if I was lucky.
Oh,
Darn dog.
we are live.
Hello, everybody. This is Dr. Vali Parthasarathy from Synergy Behavior Solutions. I'm a veterinary behavior resident. And with me today is Sarah McClowdery, our behavior and training coordinator. And we're going to talk today about advocating for your pet during veterinary visits.
So if you are a pet owner and you have noticed there has been changes at your local veterinary hospital about how they are doing things, most veterinary hospitals have moved to what we call a curbside service. And what that usually looks like is you'll call when you get there, the technician comes out and takes your pet into the clinic, and then the vet sees your animal and they'll call you with findings. But that's very different than traditionally how we've gone to vets with our pets previously. So what kind of tips or ideas do you have to help that go more smoothly for most of our pets?
Yeah, it's definitely something that's a big change and something that we've been working with a lot of our clients on, helping them make this transition from going into the veterinary hospital with their pet versus having their pet picked up curbside. So just to kind of give everybody an overview of what tends to happen is that you make your appointment, you go to the vet's office, you stay in the parking lot or in the car nearby. The veterinary staff then comes to your car and takes your pet into the veterinary hospital. Depending on the hospital, they might do a telemedicine consult during that period of time where you can actually see them do the examination with their pets. Some hospitals are doing phone calls, so they're speaking with you by phone. So you're always involved with the process, but you're just not physically there with your pet. Some of the other changes that might be there is that you may have pets that are going to be separated from their people, which may be something that they're not quite used to. They might be confined because they are having to be worked on one at a time. So those are all some changes that you might be seeing. A couple of things that you can do that are easy things to do, which will help regardless of whether or not you have curbside or whether you have a regular type of veterinary visit, is preparing your pet at the house. So a couple of really great things for cats, for example, is to get them comfortable getting into a carrier. So that's not, picking up the carrier and your cat suddenly disappears. Put the carrier out several days ahead of time, ideally have it out all year round, but make it really comfortable, hide treats in there for them to find, make it a really comfortable place for them so that when they actually do need to take them someplace in it, they already have a really positive association with that area and with that crate. For dogs and cats both, there are some pheromone products that can be very helpful for decreasing stress and anxiety. For cats, there's a pheromone called Feel Away. And it comes in a spray that you can spray onto a towel or spray onto their bedding. You want to do that about 15 or so minutes before you actually put your cat into the carrier. For dogs, there's a product called Adaptil, which is another pheromone. It comes in a spray or it comes in a collar. The collar is nice because they would wear that 24/7, but it kind of goes with them. The sprays usually last several hours. So if you use the spray, and for a dog, you can have it on bedding, you can put it on a bandana. You want to wait about 15 minutes before you actually put it on them, but it can be very calming for them. When you're in the car, drive nice and smoothly as you can, having them contained in some way. If you have them in a carrier, make sure the carrier is stable. Perhaps having the dog in a crate or in a dog harness would be very helpful as well, so that they're not kind of falling all over the car as you're driving around, and everything's very stable for them. So those are a few things that you can do to kind of get started.
Definitely with cats in the carrier, I think in addition to getting them comfortable with the carrier, probably also working on desensitizing them being in the carrier while being carried, because you're going to have to hand off that carrier to a new person. And so that's probably another aspect that we want to think about for cats too.
Yeah, and a good rule of thumb also for carrying cats is to kind of hug the carrier or have one hand on the carrier and one hand over the carrier. Have a towel over the carrier so that they don't see as much and don't get as stimulated visually. And then the other thing to think about is that if you do have a pet who you already know is taking a medication or supplement to decrease anxiety, make sure that they get that product before you go take them in for the car ride and before they go in. As a good rule of thumb also, if you have a pet who you're worried about their anxiety, at the vet visit, speak to your veterinarian and see whether or not they might be eligible for, and behavioral medication might be appropriate for them. There are medications that you can give for vet visits that are situational, that take effect in a couple of hours, and then wears off by the end of the day. That can make a big difference for a lot of pets to help just
It
reduce
has
the
made a
anxiety.
it has made a big difference for one of my dogs, that is for sure.
Mhm.
The other things about handing a dog off is, you know, how are they going to touch my dog or my cat? Should I be concerned about that? More recently, clients have been advised to maybe not let their dog go into the back because that may be scary for them. And now we've completely done a 180 on that because you're not going to be present. So what can we do to make sure that that goes well with the handling and the exam part?
Yeah, so just for a little bit of additional information for what you referred to. So there's a lot of information now, a lot of encouragement to try to keep pets with their people during procedures rather than separating them and taking them to the back. Of course, with the curbside services that we're having nowadays, that's kind of required. So there are a few strategies for it. Again, if you have a dog who's really going to be stressed about being separated from you, this might be a time where speaking to your primary vet would be a really good idea to talk about pre-visit medications to help that trip go more smoothly and help the dog feel more comfortable or the cat feel more comfortable. In this case, we're talking about dogs. For some pets, having sort of, and depending, of course, the comfort level of the staff members and maintaining your 6-foot distance and social distancing, maybe walking in parallel with them while they're walking your dog and then veering off at the last minute while they go through the door. Sometimes that really helps if you walk with your pet rather than having the pet be taken away from you. So that could be another option as well that can be helpful for some pets.
And I personally have a dog who has a lot of trained behaviors at the vet to help with her exams. And recently she had to have an unexpected veterinary visit. And we went ahead and made sure to refresh the technician about what her trained behaviors looked like and how to cue them, because normally I do all of that myself. And the technician was very thankful to know what to expect and how to help my dog be most comfortable in the veterinary setting.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point. I think that, trying to be as proactive as possible to help your dog be as comfortable as possible, or your cat. So thinking about, taking in the best, if you have a pet who's really food motivated, bring their favorite treats with them. Make sure that you have some that the staff can use. If you have special handling requirements, make sure that the staff understands that. Even if it's in the pet's files already, it never hurts to refresh, because with all the, with everything that's going on right now, it's just really important to have handling information as first and foremost. So, if I take my dog in, I always remind them that he has arthritis, and where that is on him so that he doesn't get strained. So just always making sure that you're advocating for your pet and reminding people, and people are going to appreciate the reminder of what it is that's going to be most beneficial for your pet, because everybody who's in the veterinary industry, we're in it because we love the animals, and so our goal is to try to make the trip as positive for them as possible also. And so the more information that you can give your veterinary team about how that pet is going to respond favorably, then the better off that they're going to be, and the happier everyone's going to be for that.
Yeah, nobody wants to have your dog or cat not have a good time at the vet. So anything that we can do as a owner going in is going to help them. So reminding them of all those, maybe your dog has a little quirk about who their favorite staff member is, or even some simple things like that can, I think, make all the difference in having the event go as smoothly as possible.
Mm-hmm. A couple of just special case situations, which isn't the case for every dog, but if you have a situation where you have a dog that you're worried might get a little bit snappy, then this is a great time, before your dog needs to go into the vet's office, this is a great time to do some muzzle conditioning, teaching them to feel comfortable wearing a muzzle, just for people's safety. Especially if they get scared, if they're likely to snap, we want to make sure that everybody stays safe. So that's a really good behavior to teach. Crate training is a really great behavior also, because they might need to be, if we have a patient that needs to be kenneled or needs to be hospitalized for any reason, that's just going to be really helpful for them to be comfortable with that. Any other thoughts that you have on some trainable behaviors, Sarah?
Well, speaking of, we are offering a muzzle training class, a 3-week muzzle training class if your dog does need to learn how to wear the muzzle starting in May. And actually, this coming Monday, we are offering a class called Vet Visit Tricks. So it's fun little tricks that your dog can learn to help exams go smoother. So that's a really fun way to make the veterinary experience more positive. And that is something that you can then show off to the technician before they take your dog. And I think that's the biggest thing is just remembering to advocate that even though maybe you've been seeing your vet for years and they know your pet really well, everybody is in a higher level of stress and things can get forgotten. So don't feel like you're being annoying that you remind them that your dog has these special quirks. It is to keep everybody safe and everybody having the most positive experience at the vet, I think is really important. So.
Right. Yeah, the smoother we can make it for everybody, the happier everybody is going to be and the happier your pet's going to be.
Excellent. Well, we hope that everybody can have the most positive experience with your vet. If you have any questions about what that would look like with your particular primary care veterinarian, give them a call before you show up. Ask them what it's going to look like. How are they setting things up? Would crate training help, or various things? It's really important. The more information you have, the better prepared you can be and the better prepared your pet can be.
Right. Yeah. Would it be better for would it be better for your pet to be in the car near the entrance versus further away from the entrance? So figure out what options there are to help you. Do we need to go in through a separate entrance? So just figure out what options might be available for your particular pet.
Excellent. Well, thank you everybody for joining us today for a dose of behavior with Synergy Behavior Solutions. And we're based in Portland, Oregon. And we have the joy of being able to do everything online right now. Mm-hmm. So please join us on our website, synergybehavior.com, to find out all of our different classes and webinars that we have coming up. So we can hopefully help you and your pet have a good time during this time of staying at home.
Enjoy. Have a good week, everyone.
Thanks. Have a great day.